Hello, this is Justin Walton with the Yieldz podcast. Money mastery. What do we call it, Dan? I mean, this is our second podcast that we're doing here, so we're going to have to come up with an easier name.
Money masteries, I think, probably taken. So
modern money mastery. That's what we came up with.
Money mastery.
Hey, and it might change.
Yeah,
right. So why don't you tell them where we're at and what we're doing?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we're at the BA conference here in Dallas, Texas. And this is a great group of investors, entrepreneurs, business owners, and we just get to share ideas and have a lot of fun just collaborating and seeing how we can help each other.
And a little bit later, we have the opportunity to speak in front of the crowd, and we've done this several times now. And the last time we did it, we just kind of did an educational piece. And I would say this is kind of educational as well. When you're presenting up there, what do you think the kind of the outcome that you're looking for?
Well, it's really interesting because Yieldz Holdings, our mothership, has so many directions that we can go, but we are trying to focus our direction through the Ysurance platform, where we teach people how to leverage their life insurance in different ways to reduce their taxes, increase their wealth, produce income. So hopefully we'll get our message across in some fashion.
So kind of the unique thing in the what we call Ysurance in there is kind of the executive, what we call Ysurance for executive, maybe kind of from a top level. Maybe just kind of explain to people out there that might be in that founder, CEO, entrepreneur, why that might be important to get so close to the source of income.
Yeah. So look, we all work for income, right? Mm-hmm. When you're a business owner, it's a little bit different because if you pay yourself a salary, now all of a sudden you've got taxes both on the corporate side and on the business side. What we try to do is show high paid execs, business owners, highly paid employees even.
Yeah.
Key man, sure. Yeah. A way to pay themselves tax-free.
Yeah. That's what's amazing, right?
The best part is we keep the asset on the book. I mean, think about it like this.
What did that CPA call that? What was that?
Grossing up the balance sheet.
Grossing up the balance sheet. That's why I like that one right there. Yeah. So people don't understand, treating themselves as an asset is a foreign idea because people don't look at themselves as an asset. But when you're inside of a company, kind of as the CEO founder, you're the key asset. And this is an opportunity to kind of do that.
Yeah. And when you're out there working, you got the company making a profit, you put it on their balance sheet, and then you have to pay a salary.
Right. And then you've killed the company when you paid the salary. And usually that top person, he's usually the biggest drag on the company, right? So kind of maybe a little bit of detail on what that looks like. Maybe how about this? We kind of run through a little quick example.
Yeah. So let's say we've got a highly paid exec or yourself, you're the employer, you're the business owner, you pay yourself $500,000 a year. Well, by the time taxes take over, Medicare, FICA, all that, you're probably going to walk away with about $334,000 to spend. So that's your active lifestyle.
So that's your income. Net. That's what your take home is, and that's what you got to. And you've ran through that example before, and what I thought was interesting about, but people don't frame right because they realize what they take home, but that's the point that they start to invest from right there. Like everyone thinks they make the 500 in this case, right? But they only have the 334 to spend. And now you got to save for retirement.
Yeah. Now they've got to go home and split off 10, 20%, whatever they use for their investment portfolio. But the worst part is that $500,000 comes off the balance sheet.
You've hurt the company by $500,000.
Exactly. And no way to recover.
No way to recover. It's gone forever. Gone forever.
So what if we could take that $500,000 and just make a little detour and put it first into a highly well-designed, high cash value life insurance policy. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now we've just traded assets. Life insurance is considered a tier 1 asset. So is a cash account.
Yeah, it's as good as cash, basically,
good as
right?
Cash.
So on the balance sheet, what you're saying is you would have cash of $500,000 from the company, and all it did is move from cash to cash value, right? Cash value premium. So it's still on the balance sheet, right?
Still on the balance sheet.
And so if we didn't do that, what would it look like on the balance sheet?
500,000
minus
500,000.
Right, so it's gone.
So all that hard work forever, how long it took the company to produce 500,000 in profit is gone.
Is gone forever.
So now, okay, we put it into another asset. So we've gone from cash to cash value, but we still got to pay them the highly paid exec.
Right.
So what we do is we take a loan. Now his net was around 334,000.
Right.
So, by the way, we got a little corporate tax in there as well.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll go take a loan from the policy for about 334 plus a little bit extra, and we pay him through a loan. And actually, he creates a promissory note. Literally signs a note back to the company says
he owes the company.
I owe you 334,000.
Right.
What happens on the balance sheet? 500,000 stays, but we take a loan.
Right. So minus 350 or 334 was the number.
But now we've got a receivable of 334.
Yeah, that's the part right there, right? So if you guys are not seeing that clearly in your head, right? So it was the company brought in 500, right? And it's sitting as cash, but you had to pay 500 out. So that would have been a negative, but we didn't do that. So we went into premium, right? And so now we've got 500,000 went from cash to premium. And now you take the loan.
And here's what's interesting about a life insurance loan. You're not borrowing your money.
Yeah.
Your money stays in there. It still grows and compounds just as if you never touched it. What you're doing is you're borrowing from the insurance company. They're using your policy as collateral.
Right.
Ultimately, your death benefit is what it boils down to. But here's the best part. The highly paid exec gets to take home $334,000 tax-free because you did it as a loan.
Right.
So we cut out Uncle Sam, we cut out Medicare, FICA, all those things. Now there is some salary calculations we got to deal with.
This is just a rough example, right? I mean, it wouldn't be an actual salary replacement. This is just an easy example.
Example.
Yeah.
500,000 stays on the books. Valuation goes up. Now think about doing that for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
If I'm paying out $500,000 a year for 10 years, that company literally takes $5 million.
Yeah, $5 million. That would be a $5 million hit to the company if you didn't do this versus a $5 million that stays
on the books.
I mean,
what are your valuations? If you're going to do an IPO someday, if you're going to...
so that's literally like 100% return for the company. In the eyes of the company, it's 100% return. I didn't lose $5 million. I kept $5 million.
Which is greater than 100%. It's almost an infinite return because you did it out of thin air.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That if the light bulbs aren't going off on this, because really this is just the front end of what we do in Yieldz. And I think you definitely want to, follow us and let us take you through the entire Yieldz system, because this part that you're explaining, Dan, is literally at the creation of income as the source of money comes into the company, not losing it. And we had this conversation the other day about asymmetrical returns. You mentioned that 30% hit. What would someone have to make just to get back to square one? Yeah.
So if I'm the employee and I'm getting a gross income for $500,000, my net's 334. Just to make that back up, let's just say it's a 30% tax hit.
Yeah.
I got to make 42% on my money just to get back to where I would have been had I not have to pay the taxes.
That's now think about that though. 42%. How much risk do you have to onboard to make 42% just to get back to square one versus just restructuring in the very beginning?
Oh, restructuring is so much easier.
Right. So you just go, hey, reach out to Dan and restructure and have a phone call with Dan and go, look, we can restructure it, and you stop onboarding a ton of risk just to get back to square one.
You could almost just say, how would you like to have have a 42% return on your money.
Right. Which is already your money.
It's already your money.
You've already made it. You already went through the effort to create it. Why recreate it? Really? That's what you're forcing someone to recreate the money versus just calling Dan and going, hey, help me restructure this.
Now, for you out there who are calculating, if I take a loan of $334,000 a year for 10 years, what do I owe the company?
Right.
$3.3 million, right? Now, we don't know when you're going to pass away. Right. None of us know, right? But what if your death benefit could pay back all the salary you took for the last 10 or 20 years or whatever that is? Because your death benefit's tax-free. You just recapitalized your company or the company with all the money that they paid you in loans over 10 or 20 years, however long it is.
So let me get this straight. Okay, so not only did you not destroy the value of the company by being the highest paid, usually the executive CEO is the highest paid, caliber in there, right? So you didn't destroy the value. You retain the value, but at the end of it, the company essentially almost got you for free.
Oh, yeah. You were a no cost.
You were a no cost person, the most critical person to the company.
And think about this. You only owe the company $3.3 million in 10 years. The death benefit's probably 10 or 12 million.
Right.
So the company, not that they want to make money on you for exiting the planet, but they really do. And now they've got extra capital that could eventually go back to help your family, be a benefit.
Yeah, there's so many ways to structure that extra benefit inside of there, right? So, I mean, everyone thinks that they're the most, when you create a company, you're the CEO of the company, you feel like you're creating all this value, but in what you're describing, it really is value to the company.
It's huge value. Yeah.
Right?
And what do I care as a business owner, how long you work for me or how long you live?
Yeah, right.
I mean, as you work for me for 30 years, doesn't matter. We're going to recoup everything that we've paid you.
Yeah, there's
tax-free.
There's so many options of like golden handcuffs that you could do with like key people and structuring inside of that to incentivize people to work inside of this structure, right? The possibilities, the scenarios that we've run, the ones that you've done for people, it really is eye-opening that people have not grasped this concept, and it is foreign, it is different. People haven't heard this before, and that's why we're trying to get it out.
And what's interesting, it's not like it's something that we invented. Right. I think you said it one day. This was actually invented by people who used to wear white wigs.
Yes, exactly.
Back in the 1800s. Right. This has been around forever.
Right.
No one's just put the puzzle pieces together to use it as efficiently as we have.
Right, exactly. It's like the tools were there, right? It's like we didn't invent the tools. People have used the tools, but it's configuring the tools differently. Right, and using the tools differently. And I'm excited in future episodes when we get to walk people like what the next step is, because believe it or not, this is literally just the very beginning.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, we haven't even talked about how to also turn it into a retirement benefit.
Oh, man.
Because that's another whole layer. And then we didn't talk about how to recoup any tax liability that the corporation has on the $500 they earned. Yeah, we're scratching the surface here.
Scratching the surface. Now, tying that into the rest of the company of what Yieldz does in far as the flow of money and digital assets and onboarding people into our YLDZ token that is a interest-bearing, yield-bearing digital asset, layering that in, and then ultimately scaling into a digital portfolio, and then giving people spendable access to that thing. There's so many layers of what we want to walk people through. So we hope that, you stay with us and let us get this content out, because hopefully this is a really unusual idea that you haven't heard of, right?
Oh, I've been at this for 40 years as a financial advisor. I guarantee you they haven't heard of it.
They haven't heard of it.
And it's really surprising. And even to myself, I'm like, gosh, how did we miss this all these years? But when you think about all the different things that are promoted to businesses, 401ks, IRAs, SEPs, KIOs, 403bs, you don't have to think about any of those things.
Yeah.
And you can get away from all those IRS rules of waiting till you're 59 and a half. You got to take
the penalties, right? Because you were explaining a very valid point. As a 401k replacement strategy, all of 401k is deferred tax versus this strategy, which is
tax-free.
Yeah. Right.
Done right. You should never pay tax. And the 401k is a time bomb, a tax time bomb, because we have no idea what tax rates are going to be in 10 or 15 years. Right. If you're in your 40s and you're putting away money today and you can't touch it till you're 60, we have no idea what the tax brackets are going to be.
And that's what people, really don't understand is that 401k, it's like you have a penalty if you try to take, so you're penalized if you take it out, right? And then when you go to take it out, okay, what's deferred? You're just hoping to be in a lower tax bracket.
That's all you're hoping for.
That's all you're hoping for. But if the tax bracket increases, well, then why was your money locked up versus this? You actually have access to your money.
And here's what's really amazing to me over the years as I've looked at people. Successful people don't go down in tax brackets.
Yeah.
They typically go up.
Right.
And so this statistical chance that you're going to retire at a lower tax bracket than you're in today, it's just not even worth thinking about.
And think about this though, if what you're describing, if you're building value in the company for every year for 10 years, 20 years, right? Do you really think you're going to go down in tax bracket when the thing that you just did not destroy is worth so much more?
Oh yeah. Well, now think of, little extra excitement here.
Yeah.
We literally can provide a retirement tax-free benefit,
right?
Which is step two of the whole process.
Exactly.
And then we don't even have to worry about what tax rates are going to be.
I think what we should do maybe, Dan, is in future episodes is kind of lay out the whole structure of the whole thing and then start building, go down the rabbit holes of each one, right? And so they go, oh, I got to follow the whole concept from beginning to end. And then inside of those things, as we go down, I mean, we talk about this, there's so many rabbit holes you could get lost in.
It's right. It's like, we'll show you the whole building and then we'll go back to square one and grab the blueprints and say, okay, here's how we start. Here's the foundation. We're going to build here until we get the whole building put together. And once we do, I just can't even believe you wouldn't be so excited.
Yeah, we get so excited because we know the outcome that we can generate for someone out there. And I think that makes us both excited. We're like, man, like if we can help them see it. So we just have to get so much content out, right? To get out of our brains into their brains, like what this concept is, because they're not going to run across it.
Which is why we love speaking at conferences like the one we're at. Anywhere we can go to spread the good word.
Yeah, spread the good word. Yeah,
we're there.
Yeah, I think if you're kind of tuning into this, Dan's done content for 10 years on YouTube. I've done not near as much, a very small, podcast before, and we're kind of getting together to explain this really, really large concept of an idea. And there's so many sides of it because what we're bridging is traditional asset to digital asset because the world of finance is changing. And we hope that the podcast really helps people transition from something they've never even used, like you said, when people were wearing white wigs, right? We got to catch them up, catch them up to the, I said this the other day, to the best asset of the 19th century and prepare them for the best asset of the 21st century.
There you go. Take off the wig.
Take off the wig. Right. So I think the journey continues and, if you're following along, you'll probably get lost, right? And have to go back through something, and hopefully we'll have playlists and stuff that we could take deep dives on a specific topic.
And if you're like me, I hear something, I want to just learn it as fast as possible. So any of you who want to learn quicker, don't hesitate. Reach out.
Yeah. So
I'll walk you through a whole process. We've got an extremely capable calculator to kind of run through some of these numbers.
Yeah.
And it'd be we're just happy to start the conversation early.
And if there's not a link below this video, why don't you just give them your email address that they could get on your calendar real easy?
Yeah. Dan at yieldz.net.
Yeah. And that's really where the journey begins, is to straighten out the flow of money, right? Because you described it really good. The asymmetric return, if you could stop the loss, that's better than trying to make the gain.
Yeah. Think about the IRS.
Yeah.
I mean, I make a 42% rate of return not paying the IRS.
Right. Exactly. So that's a great place to start, right? And it all starts in transferring your flow of money. And then what you decide to do with you had a good point the other day about it's kind of like playing on house money at that point in time.
Oh, yeah. Once you've pocketed the money that you were going to give to the IRS, it's not like we definitely don't encourage you to run to Vegas and roll the dice, but it gives you the opportunity to say, I got more money to invest here.
Right.
And maybe there's some opportunities that I would not necessarily take advantage of because of the quote unquote risk, but maybe I can take just a little bit more risk because it's house money. Yeah,
because think about that for a second. If the other way of doing it in that example that you use, which, is not an exact example, we're just using it as a rough number. And, Dan, you would walk through people's individual scenarios with that. And because there's a lot of complexities in this, we're just trying to make it easy to hold in your brain right now for this example. But keeping with that example, on the 334, if you did a balanced portfolio where you took 60% in equities and 40% in treasuries and stuff. I mean, that 40% down there at 3.5%, 4%, you have to make a 42% return, and you got 40% of it working at 3 or 4%. So that means that 60%, what do you got to make? A 150% return? You're taking on so much risk to get back to square one. That's really what hit me. So I think we should probably wrap it up from here. I mean, you and I could get lost in this for hours and hours. So
this is so fun. We just can't wait to talk to you.
Yeah. So reach out, Dan at Yieldz.net. And this is the Yieldz Podcast. Thanks.